After 2 years in prison, Eligio Bishop, aka Natureboy, is finally going to trial. Before we get into the first day of the trial, I just want to throw in a few clips of news broadcasts that were aired the day that they did their jury selection.
Jury selection is underway right now in DeKalb County in the rape trial of an accused cult leader. Thanks so much for joining us today for Fox 5 News at 4. I'm Christine Spiro. Prosecutors say Eligio Bishop assaulted one of his followers and then posted explicit videos of the woman online. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live at the DeKalb County Courthouse with the latest from the courtroom. Tyler.
Yeah, Christine, good afternoon to you. So far, a jury has not been picked yet, but for hours today, prospective jurors were questioned by prosecutors and the defense team as they work to select a jury for the rape trial of an accused cult leader.
I consider jury duty to be our highest civic responsibility.
Dozens of prospective DeKalb County jurors faced questions Wednesday in a county courtroom as lawyers on both sides work to figure out who will decide the fate of alleged cult leader Eligio Bishop.
Has anyone else heard anything about this case before you came to court today?
Is there anyone here you yourself have been accused of sexual assault or improper touching?
The questions from prosecutors and the defense are designed to get a fair and impartial jury for Bishop, who's accused of raping a woman trying to leave his alleged cult called Carbon Nation. In March of 2022, the woman says Bishop asked to see her as she was packing her stuff at a home off of DeKalb County's La Vista Road. That's when investigators say the alleged assault took place, but that's not all, and that's why prosecutors asked prospective jurors this.
Is there anyone who themselves, a close friend or a family member, has ever had an intimate video of themselves shared without their consent?
Prosecutors say later the victim found explicit videos posted online. Prosecutors call it revenge porn. During Bishop's preliminary hearing, his lawyer called the rape allegation a he-said-she-said situation. The victim, who we're not identifying, wasn't present Wednesday, but one of her supporters was.
She's feeling strong. She's looking forward to telling her story in full, in totality of everything that happened that night.
Bishop also had supporters at the courthouse. None of them wanted to go on camera, but said this as they walked to lunch.
3 though, we busted 3. 3.
And Bishop faces several charges, including rape. Jury selection is expected to wrap up today with opening statements set for tomorrow. And the judge says this trial is going to last about a week and a half. We're live in DeKalb County this afternoon. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
All right, Tyler, thanks for the latest.
This next broadcast comes from WSB-TV Atlanta.
Developments now. An accused cult leader called Natureboy is on trial in DeKalb County. He's accused of rape and posting revenge porn. Channel 2's Courtney Francisco is live outside the courthouse where jury selection started today. Courtney.
Karen, it just wrapped up in the past 20 minutes. Opening statements are slated to start tomorrow. It's a trial involving rape, revenge, and a man some consider God, Eligio Bishop.
3.
Bishop's supporters shouted outside DeKalb County Courthouse while critics cringed.
They are going to support him until they finally snap out of it and wake up.
Chantel Coleman is here to support the woman who calls Bishop her rapist. We aren't revealing her name for privacy, but investigators say she was part of Bishop's cult, Carbon Nation, in March of 2022, when the crime happened and she escaped.
She's feeling strong. She's looking forward to telling her story in full.
We were there when police swooped into the Arbor Chase home the next month, arrested Bishop for rape, false imprisonment, and posting revenge porn online. His followers stood in support, saying they believe in nature, nudity, and kindness, and they called Bishop Natureboy. They followed him around Central America and Hawaii before moving to the metro.
A man is being locked up for something that did not happen, and it's unfair.
During jury selection, Bishop was silent. The judge did order him to stand to show himself to the room, and he offered a friendly wave. Outside, Bishop's followers were not ready to talk beyond a show of support yet.
I don't think they ever thought that they would see the day that their cult leader would be in this situation, and so they're just hanging on.
And court documents say the defense expects to call at least 6 witnesses. It's unclear how many witnesses the state plans to call. The judge said to the jury today she expects this trial to last the rest of this week and the rest of next week. Reporting live in DeKalb County, Courtney Francisco, Channel 2 Action News.
Thank you, Courtney. According to a 2017 report from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, Bishop is a former model, stripper, and barber. He has ties to Atlanta dating back to at least 2009. Around 2016, Bishop and his followers moved to Central America but were forced to leave in 2017. One member told Channel 2 Action News Bishop and Carbon Nation teach to love nature, nudity, and one another.
I wanted you guys to get a feel of the courtroom experience. So here is Natureboy getting his charges read to him by the judge. And then we're going to get into the jury selection. I want you guys to get an idea of how they decided to select the jury.
In the county of DeKalb and state of Georgia, on or about the 24th day of March 2022, in violation of the personal liberty of Janae, did unlawfully confine said person without legal authority. Count 3, prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions. The grand jurors aforesaid, in the name of and on behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, charge and accuse Alicia Bishop with the offense of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions in violation of OCGA 16-11-90B for the said accused person in the county of DeKalb and state of Georgia on or about the 27th day of March 2022 without the consent of Janae Newell, the depicted person, did unlawfully cause the electronic posting of a certain video with a length of 56 seconds with the knowledge that it depicted sexually explicit conduct of Janae Newell, an adult, for the purpose of harassment, and such video served no legitimate purpose to the person depicted. Count 4. Same type of count. The grand jurors aforesaid, in the name of and on behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, charge and accuse Alicia Bishop with the offense of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions in violation of OCGA 16-11-90B for the said accused person in the county of DeKalb and state of Georgia on or about the 27th day of March 2022 without the consent of Janae Newell, the depicted person, did unlawfully cause the electronic posting of a certain video with a length of 28 seconds with the knowledge that it depicted sexually explicit conduct of Janae Newell, an adult, for the purpose of harassment, and such video served no legitimate purpose to the person depicted, this offense constituting a second or subsequent violation of this law. I assume that's second or subsequent to count 3. Mr. Coveney, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Count 4. What? Hold on. That was count 4, correct?
It was.
That was. Okay. Count 5. Let's try this again. Count 5. The grand jurors aforesaid, in the name of and on behalf of the citizens of the state of Georgia, charge and accuse Alicia Bishop with the offense of prohibition on nude or sexually explicit electronic transmissions in violation of OCGA 16-11-90B for the said accused person in the county of DeKalb and state of Georgia on or about the 27th day of March 2022 without the consent of Janae. The depicted person did unlawfully cause the electronic posting of a certain video with a length of 1 minute and 8 seconds with the knowledge that it depicted sexually explicit conduct of Janae Newell, an adult, for the purpose of harassment, and such videos served no legitimate purpose to the person depicted, this offense constituting a second or subsequent violation of this law. Contrary to the laws of said state, the good order, peace, and dignity thereof, signed Cherry Austin, DeKalb County Superior Court District Attorney. And Mr. Coveney, again, in count 5, the offense constituting a second or subsequent, that is subsequent or second to counts 3 and 4?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right.
What are your thoughts so far? I personally think that Natureboy looks defeated. I mean, it's written all over his face. Out of all the years of me watching Carbon Nation and covering the story, I rarely see him like this. Rarely see him in this state. But this time, it's serious. Like, back when he got arrested in Hawaii and, you know, he was freed, he went back to his bullshit. Back to his abusive ways. And he actually got worse. Each time he got in trouble and got out of trouble, his behavior became worse. Those of you who know, know. But I want to know your thoughts down below. Do you think that Nature Boy is guilty of the charges that he has been given? Do you think that Nature Boy deserves life in prison? I'd love to know your thoughts.
Anyone think they might have trouble following their oath to decide the case based on what you hear in court this week because of the fact the case is being followed by the media? Did that make sense? I see no response. I expect the judge will instruct you to refrain from consuming or watching or reading any media coverage of this case. Is there anyone who would have trouble following such an instruction?
So even if I tell you you're not to watch social media under penalty of contempt, you would still do it? Is that what? Number 18, hold on, let's get in the microphone, please. Because that's what you're asking, correct, Mr. Coveney?
Yes, Your Honor. Is anyone unable or unwilling to follow a court's rule not to watch media coverage of this case?
I'm able to follow that.
Thought so. Okay. Same question for juror 41. If you would stand up for me. If I instruct you that you are not to watch social media or anything about this case, would you be unwilling to follow that?
It's not that I'm unwilling. I have kids and I can't control what they show me. Mama, look, and I look over. I've already looked at it at that point.
Okay.
Like I mentioned before, I want you guys to get a feel of the courtroom and the process. So we're going to go to another clip after this one where there is a juror that they're trying to decide whether they're going to keep or, I guess, kick to the curb. So listen closely. This woman has been in an abusive relationship and they want to make sure that she's going to be okay taking on this trial. If you really think about it, they don't want people to have any reason to not be fair in a case. So they have to ask you many questions, and this is an example.
Yes. Over in Cobb County?
Yes.
Okay, and that's where you're working when you end up getting injured and now you're working towards your medical degree?
Yes.
Okay, all right, and you're a full-time student?
Well, yeah, kind of. So I'm going to school like once a week right now.
Okay.
That's how my class is.
How far along are you in school?
I'm in my second semester.
Okay, well, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
You indicated that you were in an abusive relationship years ago. Was that here in Georgia?
Yes.
Okay, and I think the state asked you, were the police involved? They were, right? Was somebody arrested in that case?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, do me a favor, make sure instead of saying, that's okay, everybody does it, just say yes or no for me.
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. Court reporter's taking down words, so she has to hear a word. Okay. So someone was arrested and went to jail as a result of that abusive relationship?
Yes.
Okay. And you mentioned, I guess, a segue into that you were, I wrote down what I think you said, that you were passionate and shocked to be a part of something. What did you mean by you were passionate?
Well, that it kind of hurts me that's what I would, if I'm a juror, that's what I got to be a part of, to listen in on and make a decision about.
Okay. Yeah. So you think it would be difficult for you to sit as a juror?
I never did it before, so
okay.
No, I'm not sure if it would be or not.
Okay. Because you were in an abusive relationship, is that what you thought about when you were talking about being a passionate juror? Is that what you meant?
Yes, and the fact of me knowing about women experiencing this, a lot. Okay. Yeah.
Well, you understand that at this point, Mr. Bishop is accused of it.
Right.
You understand that? Mm-hmm. You understand the state has a responsibility to try to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he's actually guilty of what they've charged him of.
Yes.
Sir. Right now, you've only heard words.
Yes.
Okay. Have you formed an opinion just based on the words that you've heard?
No.
Okay. Are you going to be willing to listen to the evidence in this case with an open mind and make a decision after you've heard all the evidence?
Yes.
Okay. Do you feel like you're fair and impartial at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, ma'am. No further questions.
No.
Thank you. Juror 3.
If this is one of Nature Boy's jurors, oh, this is going to be a trial. Imagine a survivor of domestic violence being on a case like this. They're going to break down everything that Nature Boy has done. videos of abuse. We're going to hear so many. Oh my goodness, I don't even know if I could stomach it. Next is Natureboy being offered a plea deal. Hopefully you guys can hear loud and clear. This is literally just to give you a feel of what it was like in the courtroom.
Count 1, rape, would be reduced to the charge of aggravated assault, and count 2, false imprisonment, would be offered for null cross. Defendant would plead guilty to counts 3 through 5 of the indictment, and 3 counts of revenge porn. The total sentence would be 30 years, so the 20 years on aggravated assault would run consecutive, or the revenge porn charges would run consecutive to the 20 years on aggravated assault for a total of 30 years. There would be between 10 and 20 years to serve in confinement. That number would be left up to Your Honor after argument from the parties. There are several special conditions that are attached to the sentence. Those include no contact with the victim, as well as the defendant may not profit off of this case or the facts giving rise to the case, and the defendant would be banished from the state of Georgia except for Clayton County.
He can only stay in Clayton County, is that what you said?
Yes, but it'd primarily be he could utilize the airport without being in violation of the
Gotcha,
terms of the sentence.
but for Clayton County, okay. All right. Mr. Booker,
Yes, Judge.
have you discussed the terms of this offer with your client?
I think he has further questions, Judge.
Okay.
Essentially, the terms that the state and I talked about this morning, my client was concerned about having to register as a sex offender. The way that the state has crafted the plea, he would not be required to register as a sex offender. And so that was a large portion of what he was seeking. Again, there would be parolable offenses versus what we're facing now, which would be a mandatory minimum life or split sentence on rape. So, assuming that you're responsible. Do you need further time to discuss what the state has proposed? Okay.
All right, I'll give you a few more minutes to talk, but then if we need to move forward, if we're not going to do it, so.
And if the state could, just for my client's edification, if you just state on the record if he doesn't accept the plea when it's deemed as withdrawn, so you'll know.
It would be deemed as withdrawn at the time that Ms. Newell, which is the first state's witness, takes the stand and is sworn.
All right, so in the next few minutes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Watching Natureboy leave that courtroom, you can see the disappointment all over his face and all over his attorney's face. Man, you guys, this is it. If you followed Natureboy long enough, you'd know he would never accept a plea deal, especially one where he has to register as an S offender. His pride wouldn't let him. That 7 years is probably the easiest thing for him to just accept because his life is on the line. They said 30 years in prison. He had a 7-year plea deal. He denied it. I'm guessing he might do a good 20. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments. Let's get back to the rest of the news broadcast. Unfortunately, I was unable to record Neytiri while she was in court because they took the stream down. I don't know what was happening, but the stream came down. It was very disturbing to hear the things that she was saying, but you will hear a few things on the last couple of broadcasts. Listen, I know now is not the time for jokes, but y'all tell me, who is dressing Eligio? Nature. Okay, let me just calm down.
After a last-minute plea deal was rejected, opening statements started today in the trial of a cult leader accused of multiple charges, including rape and false imprisonment in DeKalb County. 11 Alive's Tracy A. McPeer just stepping out of the courtroom and joins us live in Decatur for what was a busy day, a first day, Tracy.
That's right. And not only did the prosecution and defense deliver their opening statements, today was the first day of testimony. And we got a closer look inside what prosecutors say is Eligio Bishop's cult, Carbon Nation, as a victim took the stand. Now, Eligio Bishop is charged with rape, false imprisonment, and sending nude or sexually explicit videos of the victim without consent that prosecutors say he posted as revenge porn. So far today, we heard opening arguments on both sides as the prosecution described Bishop as a controlling cult leader who traveled with his group from country to country for years, brainwashing followers into following his rules. The defense claimed that the cult itself is irrelevant and any sex or videos were consensual.
You will hear that there was this atmosphere of fear and violence within the group, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Who was going to be next? What the defendant did with that power. The answer to that, the evidence will show, is sex. Nobody said no to the king.
This is not a complicated case, but it becomes extraordinarily complicated when we tie in a bunch of other stuff that doesn't have to do with March 24, 2022. She described making love. And we're all 14 of you guys are adults. You know there's a wide discrepancy from someone making love versus someone being raped.
Now, the victim took the stand, and right before lunch, the defense called for a mistrial after the victim described violence against another woman. But the judge denied that. Now, coming up, you'll hear the victim's testimony on what it was like being inside that cult and what happened when she tried to.
Day one in the DeKalb County trial of an alleged cult leader accused of rape. Eligio Bishop was arrested in April of 2022 after a former member of the Carbon Nation cult accused him of rape and false imprisonment and claims he posted sex videos of her online as revenge. 11 Alive's Tracy A. McPeer has been following this case for us. She just stepped out of the courtroom. And Tracy, you're joining us live now with an update.
That's right. It's been a very emotional day in court with opening arguments. Then we heard from the victim in court for the first time.
I wasn't able to go. I felt like I couldn't. I felt powerless. And he kept telling me that he wanted to just do it one more time, just one more time.
On day one of Eligio Bishop's trial, the victim took the stand, explaining the power she says Bishop had over the members of his cult, Carbon Nation.
I was basically his disciple. And then he would make me his lover and take me and become his wife.
Bishop is facing a number of charges after the victim, a former member of Carbon Nation, accused him of rape and false imprisonment and says he posted sex videos of her online as revenge for leaving him.
What the defendant did with that power. The answer to that, the evidence will show, is sex. Nobody said no to the king.
In opening arguments Thursday, DeKalb County prosecutors described Eligio Bishop as a power-hungry cult leader that abused his members.
You will hear that there was this atmosphere of fear and violence within the group, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Who was going to be next?
The defense claiming the sex and the videos were consensual and that she was able to leave.
She packed her bags. Nobody stopped her from packing her bags on her. She was able to get her paintings out of the storage. Nobody stopped her from doing that.
The victim claims there were many rules in the cult and punishments for those who broke the rules.
When you disrespect Eligio, you would either go in a corner or do squats or be reprimanded or shunned.
Eventually, she says those punishments included violence and beatings from Bishop and the other members.
He used a belt, a leather belt, to whip her over 50 to 100 times.
The victim admits she was a member of the cult 3 different times. And as she was leaving for the final time, she told him no to sex repeatedly before finally saying, okay.
And how many times do you think you told him no before you said okay? If you just had to...
I don't, so many times I couldn't count. He interrupts me and says, shut up. You're my property. You're not going anywhere.
Now, the prosecution also played clips of the sexually explicit videos that were posted on Bishop's site. That was one of the more disturbing parts of the trial so far. Now, this trial will resume tomorrow morning at 9.
Opening statements begin today in the trial of an accused cult leader in DeKalb County. Prosecutors say Eligio Bishop raped one of his followers, then posted explicit videos of the woman online.
Fox 5's Tyler Fingert has been in the courtroom all day today. He's live at the DeKalb County Courthouse with the night's new information. Tyler?
Yeah, Tom, good evening to you. It's been nearly 2 years since the victim says she was raped by an alleged cult leader. Today, she faced him in court as the first witness in his rape trial.
When I was there, I was definitely, I would say, brainwashed.
The woman who claims she was raped by Eligio Bishop detailed in court for the first time what she says it was like to be a member of his alleged cult, Carbon Nation. She says she was with his group for 3 stints and says things started off fine, but eventually she noticed violent outbursts. When she tried to leave the group for the final time, she says Bishop asked to sleep with her one more time.
He basically was trying to convince me to sleep with him.
And how did you respond to that?
I said no.
She says she told him no repeatedly before finally relenting and saying okay.
I felt like I couldn't leave in that moment because I felt restricted.
During opening statements, prosecutors painted Bishop as a man who held all the power in the group, and he posted sexually explicit videos of her as an act of revenge for leaving. The defense denies the allegations and says everything was consensual and that this is a he said, she said situation.
You'll hear, again from the former members, that this defendant had his choice of the women in the group. It was understood. Nobody said no to the king. To God.
She described making love. And we're all 14 of you guys are adults. You know there's a wide discrepancy from someone making love versus someone being raped.
I'd like your thoughts, guys. If you saw the original video where Nateri did her interview after leaving the cult, she stated that she and Eligio made love. And shortly after, she put rape charges on him. What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is going to make a difference in court? Or do you think the other witnesses that come out are going to really seal the deal?
The victim says during the alleged assault, she felt powerless and had no choice.
He said, shut up. You're my property. You're not going anywhere.
And the prosecution has started introducing sexually explicit video that they say were posted without her consent. The victim calls them humiliating.
One more question. How many of you saw the tapes? Unfortunately, I did. And initially, they were about maybe 4 clips, and it was supposed to be educational. It was actually, when I say disturbing, it was disturbing. It was just, it made me feel as if I were being violated. Just watching Nateri lay there and be used as an example for everybody to watch. It was just very uncomfortable. Why did I watch it? Because I was covering the story and I literally watched everything, even Natureboy and the transgender porn. Oh my God. You guys, yeah, I did my research. So my question is, if you guys did see the tape, did you know that Natureboy's Twitter was taken down? Natureboy's Twitter was taken down. Nateri ended up leaving. And after she left, Natureboy reposted the videos. So what do you think about that? Do you think Natureboy reposted them to spite Nateri? Or do you think he reposted them because he felt as if that was his property and that was his educational video? I personally think he reposted it out of spite, but I'd like to know your opinions.
If convicted, Bishop faces up to life in prison without the possibility of parole. We're live in DeKalb County tonight. Tyler Fingert, Fox 5 News.
Some disturbing testimony there in the courtroom today. Tyler, thanks for the latest.
Wow, wow, wow. It went from 30 years to facing life in prison. You guys, I don't know much about court. I don't know much about cases like this. How did it go from 30 years to facing life in prison? Is 30 years considered facing life in prison? You guys, please let me know down below. I know that probably sounds like a dumb question to you, but I'm being for real. I will be keeping up with this case, and hopefully I will be joining my sister, Stinson Has a Soup, for us to have a conversation. I'd love to hear from the people that had originally started covering the story of the carbonation cults and Eligio and all the abuse. It would be such a beautiful thing to get on a panel with everyone and just discuss and, you know, speak on our experiences while covering the story. That's the end of my coverage for trial day 1. Hopefully I will catch you on the next video and possibly live.